Hello my beautiful makeup lovers! Thank you so much for tuning in with me and a very warm welcome to my channel. Today I want to do a first impression video with you on the new foundation from Makeup Revolution, the Conceal Define Foundation that it just released. I grabbed two of those because I was not that sure about my shade, but they have quite a decent shade range. I'm going to leave a picture here so you can see. And yeah, so it's basically the corresponding foundation to the infamous Conceal Define concealer that I'm a huge fan of and that I love so much. So when this released, I knew I had to grab it, and I did, obviously. So yeah, this is how it looks like. It's a bit shiny, so I hope it's for you easy to see. And I'll link on it down below the Makeup Revolution website. Make sure that when you go to the website that you change the currency and the country to yours, so you will see it in your prices and your shipping costs. And yeah, so today I want to do a first impression with you on this. First, I want to give you a bit of info on the product itself. So it does have 23 milliliters or 0.8 fluid ounces, so it's a little bit less than a usual foundation, I think. And it does retail for 10 euros, 9 pounds or 12 US dollars. So yeah, that's pretty good deal, I think. Even though it's a little bit less, I think it's a good price. It comes in kind of like a glass bottle in this milky glass, so that feels really nice. Like gives the whole product kind of like a luxurious feeling. And yeah, I'm enjoying that, so I like the packaging so far. Let's see how it goes when we apply it. And since we speak about foundation here, I really want to give you a little bit of an info what I'm looking for in a foundation, because I think foundations are a really personal thing. What you look in it, it really depends on your skin type. So let me tell you first what my skin type is. So my skin type is, I'm very oily, let's say. I'm very oily, so around here and also here, I get super oily. Like it's not pretty. And also still I have like here around that, like on my cheek, no, that's not the cheekbones, the jawbones. And up here I have a tendency to be dry. And in winter, when this part here becomes also quite dry but stays oily as well, so it starts to be very combinational down here with all the oily area in winter. And I also have a lot of redness. I think you can tell. I mean, my camera is not the best that I have, but I think you can tell I have a lot of redness to battle, which is due to my Rosacea. I don't know how you pronounce this. You know, this skin condition that makes your skin really red and irritated. So my skin gets easily irritated. It's really sensible. So yeah, that results most of the time in breakouts. So I also have a tendency to break out. So I have quite a lot of skin issues to battle. And also I have a lot of texture. I don't know if you can see, I have quite a lot of texture going on everywhere. So I need a foundation that fulfills a lot of needs. So what am I looking for in a foundation based on my skin conditions? So first of all, I like a semi-matte finish. I don't like the super matte finish because I also don't want my face to look dull, if you know what I mean. So I like kind of a semi-matte finish. I don't like when it's like super matte. And also because this corresponds most of the time with very drying foundations, like foundations that really don't only control the oil but also suck out the moisture, because moisture and oil on the skin is something different, and I need something that controls the oil but does not suck out my moisture. This is also not something I want, because then this part here and this here gets so dry that it's like itchy and it's not nice. And what else I don't like is if it's like too hefty. Like if I mean, I know that when you have a mattifying foundation that it cannot be super lightweight, but I also don't want to have the feeling that I wear foundation that drags me down to my knees. So kind of like a foundation that I don't mind to feel it on my skin, but I want it to be not super heavy, if this makes sense. Like as least heavy as it's possible for a mattifying foundation. And yeah, so I also need a foundation that covers up a lot. So I need full coverage. I prefer full coverage because I need to cover up the redness. And yeah, so you're not gonna achieve that unless you do a lot of color correcting with a medium coverage. So that's what I want. It's a full coverage. And also I need something that doesn't grab on too much on my texture and does not, you know, like emphasize even more that I have a lot of texture. Like, yeah. So you see, I have a lot of recommendations on my foundation. Also, I don't want to be reacting on it, so I don't want to have more breakouts from it. I don't want to have itchiness from it. I guess everybody does not want that. And who wants to have breakouts and itchiness from foundation? So I think that's a common thing. And yeah, so let's just get started with the foundation. I did buy 2 shades, as you could see. I bought F2 and F6 because I thought this one, the F2, would be probably perfect in winter, and this one now in summer. And I can transition in between by mixing them. So I'm going to check out the F6 now, if this is going to be something for me. Oh, you have to screw it off like this, and it's one of those applicators. So like it's gigantic. Look at this, it's gigantic. So let me scoop it actually a little bit. So yeah, let me see. Well, that could be a nice match. I'm just gonna go ahead and do it with that one. So yeah, I mean, I like this. I know a lot of people don't like this kind of font. Like, let me get a mirror. It's maybe better than just doing it from there. A lot of people do not like this kind of applicator, but I don't mind. Like, I saw the first like the review of this foundation from Soft as Nails, and she said actually, like, you do that with your concealer, so why do you mind doing that with your foundation? And I was like, yeah, she's absolutely right. And yeah, so I am kind of agreeing with that. I don't mind about the applicator. I don't mind that it's like that. Little spots to cover here. Let's see, it already looks like it has quite a lot of coverage. It's a bit difficult for me to do this here because my mirror is not standing in front of me, so I'm kind of balancing around here. Okay. So that should be enough for now. I'm gonna go ahead and use a sponge. I'm not a huge fan of makeup brushes, so yeah, oops, sorry, don't get seasick. So I'm gonna buff it out with a sponge. Okay, the coverage is, I don't know if you can tell, can you? Like, the coverage is really good. I definitely can see here the coverage quality from the concealer. So in case you have the concealer, this coverage quality it has is pretty similar. Like, I used sometimes before the concealer actually as a foundation, and I have to say that this doesn't cover any less as the concealer in general. I would say, so I think from the finish it's quite matte, but it is not super matte. So I'm liking the finish so far, but let's first apply everything before I'm gonna do conclusions here. Boy, okay. Putting, putting, putting. Boy, I look like a ghost now. But actually the color fits me well. Like, if you see to my neck, it does fit, because if I go in with bronzer and everything later on, it is going to be a good color match. So I don't have the feeling I applied too crazy much, but I feel the coverage is there. Maybe a little bit here. I have like a, you know, maturing zit on my nose, so I'm going to take care of that one in a moment. But I am so far really happy with the coverage. So I don't know if you can see too much. I know my camera is not the best, so I think unfortunately I have to rely a little bit on what I'm going to tell you, but it does look really good. It has a really good coverage. The finish is not too matte. I mean, it is quite matte. It dries down now a little bit and it is matte. From the finish itself, I can tell like that I'm wearing foundation. I mean, I know with every foundation you're gonna be telling that foundation if it's a full coverage. So I think that's still okay. Like I don't look like like one of this foundation. It just sits on top of the skin. It does blend in quite nicely. I have the feeling it grabs a little bit on the texture though. Like I feel like the texture over here, if you can see, I feel it's a bit, it's not emphasized, but it's also not really like smoothed out. I mean, I did not use a primer either because I wanted to give this foundation like a chance to just, you know, make its own stand. So yeah, I'm liking it so far. I think maybe it's not going to be my perfect or favorite foundation forever, but it does look nice. So now I'm going to go in with the corresponding concealer. They also brought out this one in now a super size because this one is rather small. I don't really need a super size because I also have other concealers that I really enjoy. But if you are like a hardcore fan of this concealer and only use this one, I think the super size could be a good option for you, because I think if you only use that one, it could be a bit fast empty. Okay, now this is also done. So I like how they blend into each other. As I said, I kind of expected this, being like corresponding products to each other. So I will now set my foundation. I'm going to use, I don't have any setting powder from Makeup Revolution, but I'm going to use the Catrice Prime and Fine Mattifying Powder. That's how it looks like. That's a really good one. I really like that one. So I know if the foundation breaks down super fast, it's not because of the powder, but it's going to be because of the foundation. Okay, so this is quite a nice finish. I have to say I'm liking it, like how the powder is. The powder doesn't sit on top of it, so it does react with the powder. Like some powders, some foundations, when you use a powder and it usually works for you, and then you put it on top and all of a sudden it just sits there. Usually for me, this is an indicator that the foundation doesn't really work well with powders, and then it's not a foundation for me. So yeah, I'm liking it. It has a really full coverage. Let me now do the rest, you know, like face stuff, basically, some bronzer, some blush, and I will also do my eyebrows, and then I'm gonna come back to you. Okay, so this is now me with the face done, let's say. So I applied some bronzer. I used the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer in Sunkissed. I used as a blush the Life's a Peach from L'Oreal in the color Peach Addict. And I used, because I thought it would be nice to do that, because since it's Makeup Revolution, I used the highlighter palette from the collaboration between Soft Does Nails and Makeup Revolution. And I did a mix of these two shades. So actually I'm now going to go off to film another video. I'm going to film actually the first impression with the new eyeshadow palette from Certify, the Destiny palette. And after that, I'm gonna have some dinner, I'm gonna have some, you know, relaxing time, and then I'm gonna check back in with you to see how the foundation is doing. I know that's maybe gonna be like 4 hours, but it's already late. I cannot do anything about that, and I'm not gonna stay up until 6 o'clock in the morning. But I'm definitely gonna put this more to a test anyway, because about like if I react to it or if I breakouts from it, I cannot tell from using it for 1 day or something like that. So far I'm good. No breakouts yet. And yeah, so I'm gonna check in with you later. So for you it's gonna be like a second, so I'm gonna have on a whole eye look and everything, and yeah, so see you in a second. Okay guys, so I'm more done now. I have eyeshadow on. And also I ate dinner, I was relaxing on the couch, you know, all these things you do on a weeknight. And yes, so I wanted to check in on the foundation now. I have been wearing it, so I put on everything when I was around 7, and now it's 11:30, so I've been wearing it for 4.5 hours, so not super long. But since I am a very oily person, foundation would already start to break down on me. Just one more quick thing, right? I did not set anything with fixing spray, or I did not also use a primer, so to really see how it goes. And I am gonna take a look now in my mirror. So it did sink into my smile lines, but that's expected, but not too much, actually not crazy. So I see that, oops, sorry guys, sorry. So I do see that here the oil is starting to break through. It's starting to. If you can see, I don't know if you can, but it does start to go there a bit, but not too much. And that's actually, for me, to be honest, that's quite good, because I usually it starts that the oil shows through with kind of more or less a 2-hour mark, and I'm now with 4, or let's say 2 to 3 hour mark, and now 4.5 hours, and it's only starting to go through, so that's good. It did, like here we have the same. I do have a bit of glitter fallout here from the glitter I put there, but okay, let's ignore that. And it's starting to peek through. It did not sink here, like usually it starts to move around here. It didn't do that either, but I can feel it's starting, like the process is starting there. My chin is surprisingly nice. So I am actually liking it. It does start to crease around here. It does start to move around, like exactly this spot. Most of foundations do that. I didn't do any touch-ups also, just to let you know. Yeah, I am kind of happy how it is. I think it's nice, but I have to see how it is when you are like really, like now I filmed like 2 more videos before I jumped back here to do that. And it's not stressful, something I like to do, so it's not stressy per se. And after that I had dinner, and then I was relaxing, so it was not a really stressful time, this 4.5 hours. But I would wonder how it does work when I'm going to have a lot of stress, like at work, or when, I don't know, like I'm going up on a trip or something. So I'm actually taking the foundation with me, I decided, on my travel bag. I just filmed my shop my stash for my travel bag this month, just after I did the first impression on the new Certified palette. And so I decided to take it with me because I really want to put it to a test. Now I'm thinking it was a good decision, because I'm also going to a wedding, and I think that could be something that lasts the whole night, even though we are dancing and all the fuss, you know. So I'm happy so far. I'll let you know how it will work out for me. I think I'm gonna go and include the full review, like my full thoughts on it, in the review on my makeup travel bag, so stay tuned for that, because I don't think that just talking about a foundation is really like one video material. But let me know what you think. So thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like this kind of videos. Let me know in the comments down below if you have tried this foundation, what are your thoughts on it, or if you are a big concealer fan but you don't like the foundation, like all these things about this new goodie here. And yeah, so please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because I would love to see you here again. So see you in my next video. Bye bye.